Welcome to Help Will Come Tomorrow. Now, for those of you wondering what this game is about, to put it simply, this is a survival game set during the Russian Revolution, the Revolution of 1918. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that you're going to have a number of different classes. So you're going to have the working class, you're even going to have some revolutionaries on your team, as well as some aristocrats, some business people, some noblemen or noblewomen, and you need to get these people to work together to survive. So we're going to jump in here into the new game. I've already played, so I'm just going to jump right into Survivor. This is a somewhat more challenging setting. But the idea being here that your train has derailed, and that you essentially have to survive until a group of soldiers come by to help you out. Now, during this time, there was a lot of anger between the Bolsheviks and the White Armies, and this game shows that perfectly. Alright guys, so it tells you right there, their stories merge into one. And during this time, it wasn't just the Bolsheviks against the White Armies. There were all sorts of different armies involved. Peasant armies, peasant brigades, bandits just alone, just pure bandits that all existed during this time. I really recommend everybody read the book 12 Days That Shook the World to understand the confusion during this time, but we're talking about 15, 20 different political parties vying for control inside Russia. Of course, those that people know the most about are usually the Mensheviks and the Bolsheviks, but in this case, there were a ton of different parties, and we're trying to survive. We're not just trying to get food to eat, and we're not just trying to find a nice warm place to sleep. We're trying to avoid those bandit patrols, because if they find us, no matter their allegiance, some of the folks here are going to die. Another thing I think I should mention, and I should have said this initially, is that the characters you start with are not always the same. Last time I started as a revolutionary. This time I got a somewhat different guy. Now, we're not going to do the mechanics because I already know them, and we'll be explaining them here. Now, down here are the different items you have in terms of food and water. And I think the first thing we're going to want to do is get a campfire going. Now, to be able to build a campfire, you want to use units that have action points, number one, like these, but I'm actually going to be using him to use up his remaining action point. And another thing to consider is that as you talk with these people, as you learn more about them, then you're going to learn what they're good at. So you might have someone that's strong, that's particularly good. As you can see, this guy is clumsy, and he has a chance of failing in any action. He's also dependent. And that's not good. So he's dependent and clumsy. We're pretty much going to have to take care of him. That being said, it is what it is. We still have to remove that snowbank. Let's go ahead and get this officer. He looks like he's fighting for the whites, probably an officer fighting for the whites. So certainly if a communist and or Bolshevik group comes upon us, they'll probably get rid of us quite quickly. Now, to be able to actually build things, you need to gather items from the area around you. But at the same time, you also have to avoid those bandit patrols. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to actually build a solid campfire here, or a makeshift campfire, since that's a lot easier to build. And we should have the requisite materials to make that happen. So let's see, maybe not. Maybe not. We're going to have to wait just a little bit to build that makeshift campfire. So let me get out of here. Yeah, there's just no way. Well, let's try. Let's try. I still get the feeling we can do it. Yes, beautiful. So I'm actually going to bring the officer in again, and I'll bring in what I believe is the maid. And this is the most important thing, is going to be the campfire. I think the second most important thing is going to be the water filtration system. We need food, we need water. If we don't get either or, we will die quite quickly. As you can see, this poor maid is quite weak, so she's not very good at physical activities. We want to keep that in mind, but she's a very good cook. So perhaps in the future, when we're actually preparing food, and yes, you can prepare food that you find, you can also hunt for animals, or more importantly, kind of come across them. And once we do that, we will put her in charge, of course. Now, that makeshift water filter, that's what I really want. Let's go ahead and... Beautiful, we can get it. The problem is we're going to have to replace some folks because he's out of action points. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and replace him with her and let these two ladies go ahead and get our campfire set up. Now, this campfire will not run on its own forever. Eventually, it's going to run out of fuel, and we're going to have to go back out and find some more wood and take a potential risk, of course, being caught by those bandits. So for now, we've got the campfire going. Let's get everybody out of here. It's going to be, well, maybe we can do some exploration. No, it's going to be way too dangerous to explore. What we will do, however, is go ahead and feed our fire. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but what we're going to do is go into the night portion of the game. And the thing about the night portion of this game is that you have to consider or take into account that, you know, you want to ask the right questions. You want to talk about the right things. And I'll show you how that works in this game. If you don't talk about the right things, you risk actually upsetting other members of your party and causing problems. We also want to take a look here at the problems that some of our folks are facing. So right now, one of our characters is in shock. The other one has a twisted ankle. And what we need to do is we need to find a quarantine point here to hopefully fix his twisted foot. So I'm going to go ahead and use these last remaining action points just to unsnow all these areas. That'll make it a lot easier for us to build on them. And look at that. We even got some wood and some ginseng out of them, which we can eat. And, or some, is it ginger? It's ginseng, edible root. I think it's ginseng, which we can eat and feel somewhat better. And just looking over here, everybody's pretty hungry. So let's go ahead and start getting them some food. Well, specific players are extremely hungry, or are not extremely hungry, but hungry. There's three different types. There's hungry, very hungry, extremely hungry, and I think starving. So 4 types. So what we're doing right now is just trying to fix everybody's hunger. And you know what? While we're at it, we'll try to get some of them some water. Let's end the day. I think that's going to be it for now. You really want to use up all of those action points if you can. It's very important. So let's discuss Sir Edward's introduction. Bloody hell, what an adventure. It's an Englishman. Okay. Almost like in 1910 when Azerbaijani fighters derailed my train. Or as in Wadi Halfa in 1902, only then it was the boiler that exploded. Now this guy has been shown to be clumsy and somewhat lazy, so he could be making all these stories up. You don't know anything about these people until you ask more and more and more questions, and eventually they'll give you something really, really tantalizing here. Gray, Edward Gray. Indeed, I've had many adventures. Alright, so he's brave. Alright, I guess I painted him the wrong way. He's brave, and that's certainly good. And you can see that the reputation amongst other people for him has gone up. And that's very important because it's going to make it so that they enjoy working with good old Edward. Now, I think we should talk about the crash and slaughter. Yes, this is probably going to upset people. Let's let these guys do their introductions. You only get to start 2 conversations per night, so keep that in mind. If you want to check out a new location, etc., you're going to have to mention it at night. The enemy outnumbers you, is better armed, and knows the area. Okay, he's a warmonger. Interesting. He didn't have much to say. We have to secure the area. I will determine the order of patrols and changing the watch at night. Does anyone have any weapons? So the officer is already taking control of the situation. That's going to maybe piss some people off. We're not a troop of soldiers and will not become it, even under such a respectable command. Nonsense. The situation has turned all of us into soldiers, and the warriors need a commander. I protest. Surrendering is for men. Women are to become widows. Let's talk. More action. I take over the first watch at dawn, and we will look for sharp stones and metal fragments so that we can sharpen the purchase and arrows. And yes, you can make these things in the game. You can craft things. You can build knives. You can build hammers. All sorts of different things. But to do that, we need to clear out these snowbank areas and make them more habitable. So as you can see, we go through at night, and there's a certain difference between each character, whether they like what the character said or not. And that's going to affect their relationships as we go forward. Right now, our camp morale is really, really bad. So we need to do something to improve it. Excuse me. And obviously, he's a braggart. We need to do something to improve it, and that's going to be looking for items, looking for materials. And one way we can do that is going back to the train. So it's gonna be a little scary, and the reason being, when we go to the train, we could potentially be caught by bandits or run across bandits. A lot of these characters are also starvelings, which means they starve a lot faster than they should, and that's going to be something we absolutely want to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and give him all the food, and he's still going to be quite hungry. She's got big hunger. She's got big hunger. We need to do something about this, and fast. Let's go out and explore. Things get pretty desperate out here, and as you can see, one of the things we can actually eat is bark. Now, some of our folks are extremely hungry. Getting them food is going to be important, but what I'm going to do right now is just hand out some cigarettes, get people's morale up, and go on an expedition. And this is where we come across the next very important part of the game, and that's the expedition in the game itself. Now, there's going to be, of course, the train over here. We're going to go over there and try to find certain things, and I want to make sure that we're taking people that have quite a high amount of action points. They only have 2, which isn't a lot, but let's go ahead and search the area here and see what we can find. So look at all this stuff. We've got moss, we've got canvas, we've got some mushrooms, some sticks. It doesn't seem like a lot, and frankly, it really isn't, but it's all we have right now. We really need to try and get a water filtration system up. That's honestly the biggest goal at the moment. So here we go, right on the train. Not a lot here. We're gonna move over here and look at that. We've got enemies right there, bandits right on the other side of the cars. So what I'm gonna do is immediately head back to our little clearing. And another thing to consider in this game that is very, very important is that our clearing can be visible if we make too much noise, or if we have a fire that's too bright. There's just any number of different ways to get the attention of the bandits and to cause major problems for the rest of your camp. So what we're going to do now is get that water filtration system up, or improve it. We do have a little bit, but it's not enough. But what we can do is we can actually take one of our folks, and we can go ahead and do some actions, specifically filtering water. So I'm going to take her. She's already down to 1 action point. I say we use the last one up, and look at that. It's not a lot, but it's just a little bit of water for us to get by, and certainly I think it's helpful. Let's see if anybody's extremely thirsty. It doesn't look like it, but everybody could use a little bit of water. And for one of these lucky folks is going to get some vodka. Let's give some vodka to the wealthy woman, and also give some vodka here to the poorer lass. We want to spread out food so that everybody at least is not starving. That's the goal here. We probably won't fill them completely, but at least they won't be starving. And I just gave her a poisonous mushroom. Check your mushrooms, or else you might do what I just did. So we're going to keep the poisonous mushroom here and just give bugs to people. Bugs are better than nothing, and this is what we need to do to survive. It's just that simple, folks. So, as you can see, we still have some issues here. She's still quite hungry. I'm going to see if I can't fix that, and now she's just kind of hungry, which is good. Heck, if she needs to eat moss, we'll make her eat moss. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to get additional water, of course, but I'm also going to try to clear out another zone for animals. We can get a zone for bedding, or we can get a zone for, of course, scavenging animals. So let's do that and remove this snowbank. As you can see, just removing the snowbank, we actually managed to get a few different things, which is pretty great, but we haven't actually built anything here yet. That's going to take some time. What I am going to do is I'm going to throw some pine cones in our fire. And what we're going to do is make sure that this thing doesn't go out. Unfortunately, we increase the fire. We also increase the warmth that people feel, but the camp visibility is higher. I'm going to throw just a little bit more and stop for now. And let's go ahead and go into the night phase. Unfortunately, one of us is sick. Not good. That's right. We could use her action points to unsnow this area. Let's go for it. Again, really trying to use up all of those action points. And let's hope she doesn't die at night. She could die at night. The bandits could find us and shoot us. Any number of different things could actually happen here. Alright, let's wait for the patrol. So, railway employees must expect us and send a patrol. That's a good point. So what? So they can't find us here. Rescue may be at any moment, and we must give them a sign. Okay, let's discuss it. Now, of course, that could mean the bandits would spot us if we do give them a sign. But what this is going to do is actually give us a quest for tomorrow. And as you can see, that quest is going to be look for the patrol. Now, if we want, we could check the Northern River, and that would also be a quest to check the Northern River. But I'm not going to go straight into that right now. I want to finish up everybody's introductions so that they're ingratiated with the group. And this could, of course, you know, bring us some additional points tomorrow when we go searching for things. If the group gets together, they're going to work a lot better together. Obviously, they're going to get along. And you're just going to have a better outcome overall. So that's kind of what we're doing right here. And she feels compassion. This wealthier woman, we thought she was just an evil kulak, but she actually does seem to have some compassion in her heart, and that's certainly a good thing for the rest of the group. We also got a lot of respect here for the maid, and she also gained respect here with the officer. Pretty interesting stuff. So this is the game, pretty much, is trying to wait for that rescue party to come and get you. But you've seen the kind of food and things that we can scavenge, and it's not much. We haven't even gotten to the part of the game where we're actually building new parts for our camp, or even moving to a different camp, which is another option. But as you can see right here, we can build a shelter. Over here, we can build a workshop to build tools like knives, even bows and arrows. And over here, we have our quarantine point, so that if somebody cuts himself or gets sick, like this fair lady, we can send them over here and allow them to recover. Finally, we've got our Palisade, which really allows us to protect against wind. It makes this area a little warmer. It also covers camp visibility just a little bit, and it also lets us set snares for smaller critters, rabbits, rats, etc. Let's face it. You've got to eat what you can get in this game and survive on the bare minimum, but the actual challenge is really exciting and really enjoyable. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, this is just a gameplay video, just to give you the basic concepts of the game. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more of this game, you know what to do. And if you enjoyed this video, period, just please make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help. I can't stress that enough. And, you know, it's a good thing to do. Share the channel, get more people interested in these very niche games that maybe a lot of people in the gaming world haven't even heard of, and I think everybody wins in the end. That being said, guys, I hope you're staying safe, and I hope to see you in another video.